Wait, brother Usaid, you are not.
Okay, so I was just talking to myself for a bit. I was just saying that we had a very intense session with the brothers, and I'll just start the introduction. But it's good to know that I was speaking to myself, mashallah. Okay, so next up, mashallah, we have Sheikh Usta. Sheikh Usta, you guys probably already know him. If you don't, then go over to UTM's Instagram page. He's there as a chaplain as well. Now, Sheikh Usta is the founder of I3 Institute, which is an Islamic institute based in the GTA, and provides a whole set of resources for the community, like education, like a da'wah team, like faith crisis, like even new revert care, mashallah. Sheikh Usta has been teaching Islam for over 15 years and is a regular speaker and khatib in Ontario and nationally around Canada. Now, he holds a bachelor's in Islamic and Arabic studies and is currently finishing his thesis in the field of fiqh of financial contracts within his master's degree in fiqh and usul. He has studied under many Azhari scholars, including Dr. Abdul Fattah Idris and Sheikh Salah Sawi. Now, mashallah, he also has an MBA. Now, as I mentioned, he's a volunteer chaplain for the UTM MSA and a speaker at various MSAs throughout the GTA. So, mashallah, he understands the problems that we go through. So, Sheikh Costa, without any further ado, I will give you the virtual floor.
جزاكم الله خير. الله يبارك فيكم. I bless you, inshallah. I'm just trying to see, can you guys see me? Because I'm not sure.
Yes, we can see you, Sheikh.
I don't see myself. Is there, how do I make sure that basically this is working? Okay, here we go. Perfect. All right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa ala Rasulillah Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa wala. So what's the topic for today? The topic for today is pretty interesting. They gave me the hardest topic, I guess. This is grittiness, being gritty, basically. So it's a new word, and I'm pretty sure some of you guys are familiar with it. What is grit? It's a popular term right now in the industry, in business, in personal development workshops and psychology, and definitely a TED Talk basically was probably behind making it super popular between people. But let's quickly define it, okay? As the author of the famous book about grit is, have defined as grit is passion and perseverance for long-term and meaningful goals. Now, the interesting thing about grit is that it is, and to be honest, many times psychologists came and told us that there's a specific characteristic that is really behind success, right? If some of you guys are old enough or you've been through this psychology stuff enough, you'd remember basically emotional intelligence, right? Emotional intelligence was a very strong predictor of success at the workplace and so forth. And, recently grit became that characteristic. Today in the industry, it is commonly known that talent and being skilled is not good enough for success, especially when we talk about basically big success, right? Everybody can, for example, go grab a burger and say, well, I just succeeded in buying a burger. But it's not something, and that's why basically the term says meaningful and long-term goals. If you want to be a high achiever, if you want to be a person that changes the world, if you want to be a person that really leave their footprint on planet Earth, then you have to have grit. Otherwise, you don't have the secret recipe and the secret sauce for being able to achieve really huge, humongous, and very impactful, objectives. Okay, so grit is defined as a couple of things. Number one is passion and perseverance, right? What is passion? What's perseverance, really? Passion is that deep belief in something. You have to have a very deep belief that something is real, something is right, something is it must be. It could be basically a passion for being a world-class technologist. That's your passion, right? It's something that basically you must be. You have a belief that I must be the best technologist in Canada or in this specific field, in this industry. There has to the passion doesn't come just because you like something. Oh, I like ice cream. No. Passion is something bigger than that. Is really having a very deep belief, conviction, something that for you is a fact, is 100%, that you want to achieve, something that you believe must be done, something that you believe you must be that person in the future. And the second characteristic is perseverance. Now, perseverance is that ability to withstand shock, surprise, and failure, and consistently, having the determination to continue through with all these, surprises and shocks on the way, and obstacles and difficulties, and subhanallah, to be honest, you put those together, and it's kind of as if we're speaking about believers. Jannah is very long term. uh, Believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should be the most passionate thing ever for any human being. We're not speaking about, Muslims. If you know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're going to have the most deepest and strongest of passions to love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to be committed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is which would lead you to really persevere in the path toward reaching Jannah. And that's why Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, broke it down. It says basically, the path to Jannah, حفت الجنة حفت الجنة بالمكاره, meaning the path toward Jannah really is filled with obstacles that the nafs does not feel very comfortable with, really being, outside your comfort zone, and lots of things that your nafs might dislike. So you just have to go, you have to oppose, you have to consistently oppose your nafs. Perseverance, passion, pursuing your passions that are huge and ultimate, the things that are beyond, many people's, perspectives, because you have deep belief that this is what you want to be. This is who you want to be in the future. 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, because it has to be long term. After life, can somebody speak like that except the believers in Jannah? Our long-term plans are actually for the afterlife. I want to be in Jannatul Firdaus. I want to be with the Anbiya and the Mursaleen. I want to be with the Sahaba radiallahu anhum. I want to be at the top level of Jannah with the best of the best. People have a passion. People have this, you can call it a dream that must be fulfilled, and you're ready to sacrifice, and you're ready to persevere, and you're ready to work hard day in, day out to achieve it. This is what grit's all about. So, who's the best believers? Well, the grittier one. The more gritty believer you are, the better Muslim you are. And this is, at the end of the day, basically that's how it works. And subhanallah, today there's research that says, your natural talent is not an indicator of your achievement. And not even basically that, your natural talent plus effort is not even an indicator for your success. It's actually your natural talent plus effort and plus more effort. So it's kind of the author of the book kind of tries to give a quick formula where she multiplies talent with effort squared, basically. So you can understand that really talent is something small. It's a little coefficient in the formula, what leads to great success and great achievements. If you want to be the person, I don't want to really give names, but people would basically in such a speech would basically give Elon Musk and Steve Jobs and so forth, whatever. If you want to be the Salah ad-Din of the Ummah, if you want to be the Imaduddin Zanki of the Ummah, if you want to be the Umar al-Khattab of the Ummah, or the Umar al-Khattab 2.0 of the Ummah, if you want to be a great person that changes the world, a person that impacts the lives of not just basically several people around you, but the lives of millions and billions on the planet Earth, and even impacts the life of the animal kingdom. If you want to be such a person, you have to have belief. You have to be convinced. You have to have unwavering conviction and commitment to the goal. When you have commitment and hard belief, unwavering belief, 100%, no doubt, 0%. It's not 0.1%. It's not like a half a percent. It's 0% doubt. You are fully convinced. Now, where do we hear these things really? Where do we hear? We hear it in the talk about yaqeen. Yaqeen. See, the word yaqeen is not just belief. It's belief with certainty. Belief with certainty. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the believers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions those who have yaqeen. Yeah, those who have yaqeen. So now, going a little bit, deeper in the concept from a psychology perspective, to be honest, they say basically there's few traits that they found, to a certain extent correlated to those who have high grit. So I'm gonna go through them, and basically we're gonna check it out and give some examples. I have one example in my mind I'd like to kind of underscore, and it is guess who it is? It is Ashabul Kahf, the youth of the cave, because they're youngsters like yourselves, the teenagers, probably at most maybe in their early 20s. So just university students or high school students like yourselves, the Ashab al-Kahf, they exhibited every trait of what we're going to discuss today, of those 5 traits that are correlated to high grittiness, right? So number one, guess what's number one? Courage. Courage. Now, courage is not here basically the type of courage that would enable a person to walk on a rope between 2 high-rise buildings or climb a mountain. No. Over here, basically, because courage is different types. To be honest, there's lots of different types of courage. The type is the courage to take an action, the courage to initiate, to make a decision, the courage to face your fears, the courage to be comfortable standing out as alone, as just on your own, even if it's just on your own against the world. Courage to stick to your beliefs and your values. Courage to do what's right, even if it's painful. Courage to take the right steps and saying the right things at the right time without wavering to anybody. This is the type of courage we're talking about. But who has such courage except the believers? And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He told us about Ashab al-Kahf, one of the most beautiful pieces of the surah that always attaches to me is about courage. What is courage? Like, see, if I ask you, what is courage really? See, courage is a heart-related, min a'mal al-qulub, really, from a spiritual perspective, from a'mal al-qulub, right? It's your heart. Is either your heart is sometimes shaking and you're scared and you're trembling from the inside. You might not show it, but you're scared from the inside, or your heart is strong and stable. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? See, courage is the God-given gift, but can you develop it? Yeah, 100%. How do you develop it? Well, definitely practice, but let me tell you something else. If you want the support of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and not rely upon your own self, and that's where the courage is going to really be unique and special, is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells in Surah Al-Kahf. It says, وَرَبَطْنَا عَلَى قُلُوبِهِمْ إِذْ قَامُوا فَقَالُوا رَبُّنَا رَبُّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. Meaning, we have tied, as if, because see, the heart, even linguistically, is something that fluctuates. It's a fluctuator. I call the heart basically in English, al-qalb in English, basically fluctuators. It's fluctuating. It shakes and moves and flip-flops and changes, and it's constant fluctuation. So what a heart is. Even from an Arabic linguistic perspective, just for the nomadic Arabs before Islam, even that's what a qalb is. It's a shaky thing. Yeah. So what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? Allah says, وَرَبَطْنَا عَلَىٰ. We tied their hearts so they're stable, they're firm. Their feet are firm and their hearts are firm, so they're not going to waver. They're not going to be scared. They're going to have the support. They're going to have the courage to conduct. When did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do that? إِذْ قَامُوا. This is the most important 2 words. إِذْ قَامُوا. وَرَبَطْنَا عَلَىٰ قُلُوبِهِمْ إِذْ قَامُوا. When did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tie their hearts so that their hearts are stable and they're not shaky and there's no doubt and they're full of courage? to take the right steps forward is when they took the first step. When they not even first step, when they got up, if they got up to do what's right, they got up to say basically to announce their tawheed, they got up to basically stand for what they believe. When they got up, see, all what you need to do, brothers and sisters, is to take not even a step, half a step. Just get out of your seat and move toward your goal, move toward Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, move toward what's right, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you the rest. If you want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to do a rabt ala al-qalb, to strengthen your heart and stabilize it, all what you need to be doing is take a step, get out of your seat, and move toward Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's number one. That's number one. So what's number two? Number two is what they call the achievement orientation. You're focused on achieving something. You believe that it is not luck. It is not something out of your hand. It's not something that you rely upon others to do. You take full responsibility. First of all, you feel the full responsibility. It says, this is my job, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to work hard for it. Now, does that contradict basically the belief in Allah? No, not in any way or shape. You see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us tasks to do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us to pray 5 times a day. Can't we basically, we need to have this achievement orientation. We need to pray 5 times a day. We need to do the ruku', we need to do the sujood, we need to read the Quran. We need to fulfill the requirement. So when you see your life and anything in your life that you want to have grittiness in as something that's achievement oriented, focused on getting things done, you're moving forward, you're not looking back, and you're holding yourself accountable, and you believe that certain steps will cause the achievement of this task, and that's what pushes you to keep moving. So courage to move, and number two is having this focus on getting the task done. So number three is long-term goals. See, we said from the beginning, this grittiness really plays a groundbreaking role in success when things are long term, because achieving humongous things in life doesn't come in a day or two, or a month or two, or a year or two. Sometimes it's a lifelong journey, and your iman and you basically achieving Jannah is a lifelong journey. So you need to have that resilience. You need to have that long term, the stamina, I guess. The stamina is it's kind of comparing, running a marathon versus running the 100-meter track and field. So you have to have that breath, that stamina to withstand long sought after commitment and delay your instant gratification, which kind of takes us back to kind of that mushroom experiment, if some of the psychologists here are familiar with, right? So definitely the delaying of the instantaneous reaction, which is kind of what in Islam basically we call mujahadat an-nafs, basically striving and struggling against yourself to basically delay instant rest. You're gonna work hard today, you're not gonna rest today, you're gonna wake up for Fajr and you're not gonna sleep. You're gonna delay all the resting and all the niceties of life to until Jannah. Yeah. So that's number three. And what did the Ashab al-Kahf do? Well, they left their city. They said, look, if we have to lose if we have to lose our comfort here in the city, and we're just gonna go live in the wilderness, just in a cave out somewhere, basically, we don't know, maybe with foxes and wolves, and we don't know what, we're ready to do so, because we have a long-term vision. We have a long-term vision to carry this deen and to carry this amana and to move forward with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's support and help, and keep moving. طيب, what is number four? Well, number four is called resilience, which is kind of, it's part of the topic, by the way. I think the topic I was given is grittiness, or grit and resilience. So resilience is one characteristic of being gritty. Yeah. So that's number four. Well, what is grittiness? So again, there's another formula that describes resilience, which is optimism plus confidence plus creativity. Now, creativity basically is a nice word here, basically from a business perspective and from work perspective, and definitely that's fine. But this optimism, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always orders us to have full trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to trust Allah, trust Him 100%. And just let it go. This is the Iman, the sixth pillar of Iman, is to believe in the qadr. And everything that happens to you is good. And knowing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where He says in the Quran, وَكَانَ حَقًّا عَلَيْنَا نَصْرُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. It is a must upon us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaking about Himself, subhanahu wa ta'ala azza wa jal, to give victory to believers. You're going to be victorious. If you're a believer, you're going to be victorious. In the dunya and in the akhirah, you are a winner. You will be a winner. Don't second even guess it. This is 100%. So the confidence is 100% and the optimism is 100%. That's what gives you resilience. When you are 100% sure that you will make it, you will be able to make it. You will be able to cross that line. You will achieve the finishing that marathon. You have to have that confidence. So resilience is the product of that. What makes you able to run that long marathon is the belief that you can do it, and the belief that it must be done, and your commitment to finishing that task. And in terms of the Ashab al-Kahf, there's a whole surah that talks about this. They were so they were so sure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy. They were so sure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help and support. So, just to, I was going to quote the ayat, but just, since I have one more point, 55 right now, so it's almost time, if I'm not mistaken, or we started a little bit later. My mind is still stuck at the 455 point here. But what's the last one? What's the fifth? Imagine what's the fifth. The fifth is basically called excellence. And the author of this article basically differentiate between excellence and perfection. It says, gritty people are not perfectionists. They're excellence. They excel. Now, what's the word that basically is equivalent to that in Islam? We don't believe we're perfect. Actually, we believe Rasulullah told us that كل ابن آدم خطاء. Every single human being is a mistake maker. We're imperfect. Every human being is imperfect. وخير الخطائين التوابون. And the best of the imperfect are those who make tawbah and go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They ask for forgiveness, and they correct themselves, and they let go of their sins and their mistakes. They're not stubborn about it. That's the best of the imperfect. So we're not perfect in any way or shape. That's what Islam instills in us. But the word excellence is so beautiful because there's belief, which is important, and there's Islam, which is the practice, and there's ihsan, which is the excellence. The excellence is ihsan in Islam. The highest level of achievement from a belief perspective is reaching the level of ihsan. Yeah, you could be a believer, a mu'min, you believe, but you don't have any practice. The minute you basically put your iman to practice, we say that you're a Muslim. The minute basically your practice gets in an excellent state, we call you a muhsin, and a person who's excelled. So this is the fifth trait, and definitely Ashab al-Kahf were excellent in their sacrifice, excellent in their progress, excellent in their belief, and excellent in their trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. طيب, very quickly, I'm going to just give you basically a couple more things here that I also would like to share with you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I'm losing my notes. Bismillah. The last question I wanted to discuss with you, brothers and sisters, is how do we develop grit? Can grit be developed? And definitely can be developed. Yeah, definitely it can be developed. How do you develop grit? Well, let's start with the basics. Having deep iman in anything you're doing. You have to have deep iman. If you're wishy-washy about something, like, I don't think you can do this, but I'm going to try my best. I don't like that statement. Because that is anti-gritty statement. See what I'm saying? It's anti-gritty. You can't, don't say, I'm going to try my best. Because when you say that, You're starting on the wrong foot. You're telling yourself, well, yeah, I don't think I can do it. I'm just going to do my best to just feel good about it. That's so bad. That's so negative. Don't tell yourself, I'm going to do my best. That's the worst statement you ever say. Say, I'm going to go, inshallah, I'm going to do it. That's it. You say, inshallah, and you say, I'm going to do it. Inshallah, I'm going to do it. Because it's doable. Because I'm able with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm able with Allah's support subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm able with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. If I need support, who's my support? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's number one. Number one is this firm belief that you can do it, that you should do it, that you're committed to it. You set that 100%. Number two is you practice. You have to practice, so you can increase your willpower, your mental toughness. You can call it what you want to call it. Yeah, and this is based on research. It's based on real research, even from a psychology perspective. But who cares about that really when we have the Quran and the Sunnah? What is the best research? What's the best training for strengthening your mental toughness, from strengthening your willpower muscles? Is one thing. Guess what it is? It is as-salah, as-salah, as-salah. That's the most important thing. If you pray on time, and if you pray with khushu', and if you pray basically longer and longer, bit by bit, but slowly. What is khushu'? The slowness of your recitation, and your slowness or your body movement, and your focus of your mind. That's what it is. Prayers is what gives you strong willpower. Prayers is what gives you strong willpower in every aspect. Now, definitely, basically, psychologists tell you anything that is repetitive, anything that's hard to do, if you keep basically struggling against it, you increase your willpower. But that's why basically you have to pray 5 times a day. You have to pray 5 times a day, every single day. Every single day you got to go to the spiritual gym 5 times a day. It's hard. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. But that's why you keep doing it. But when you perfect it and you pray it on time, you hold yourself accountable. You pray the Dhuhr on time. You pray with khushu'. You pray with nice recitation. You recite slowly. You reflect on what you're reciting. You focus on listening to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying. You focus on actually making the right tasbih and understanding what you're saying in the tasbih. And everything else. Basically, there's a whole course on prayer that I would give. Not maybe it's not the 1 minute thing basically, but prayers. The last thing that the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said before his death was reminding us about how important prayer is. And that's what basically I'll leave inshallah with that, and I guess we'll open it with question. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه فيا فوز المستغفرين. So I'm not sure.
Yes.
What's next?
Our MC will be coming up.
I'm here. Just got tangled up in some wires. Yeah. Barakallahu feekum, Sheikh. I'm sorry we couldn't give you more time. We just had some logistical issues. But for those who, mashallah, like without a doubt, we're benefiting, Sheikh Usta has a tafsir every Friday, 8 to 9 p.m. We'll see if we can get the link in that for it. Maryam, do we have any questions, inshallah?
Yes, we do. So the first question is, what are some ways to maintain that belief in yourself?
Okay, so this is I knew this was going to be asked. Like, how do I build that conviction? So listen, it's very important. It's very important. Number one, you have to show interest. You have to show interest. You have to get interested in life. What do you mean life? In the question about life, in the universe, in the world. Where did I come from? You know what I'm saying? Like when we talk about belief, you have to be interested in knowing the answer in the first place. That's why reflection is important. You have to reflect about life. Take a second, say, okay, well, hold on 1 second. Do I need to answer this question or no? Or no? Like, well, why am I here for? Like, seriously, like, did someone create me or no? Like, let's get to the point, man. You know, like it's because very important. If I was created and there's someone who created me, who have set an objective for my life, well, I gotta know that. I have to know that, because without knowing that, I'm totally lost. I'm just heedless. I'm just like going the wrong way. It's like me walking on campus. I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, what am I doing? Biology? I'm doing engineering, doing business, arts. What am I doing? I have no idea. Yeah, it's such a don't be like that. Don't be like that. You'll never graduate, right? A person like this wouldn't graduate. So number one is get the question to be of super interest. Create a sense of high urgency. Like, this question is so important. This is the most important question of my life. Yeah. Number two is insist in understanding the answer. Okay. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to throw people in hellfire for wishy-washy answers. The answer must be 100%. 100%. Not 99.9999999999999. Yeah. It's not even that small of a percent of doubt. This is it. Number three is, if you don't know how to answer it on your own, well, get support. That's what we do. The reason the IoT Institute started, alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, is to help youngsters like yourselves, is to answer the most difficult questions about faith, belief, and life. Yeah. So again, we're one source. We're not the only source, but these are the three things you need to be doing. Get interested in the question. Make that question your vital, your do or die question. Number two, go research that question. Go think about it. And then number three is get guidance. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask the people of knowledge, the pious people of knowledge, the experts, the practitioners, from a spiritual and theological perspective, if you do not know. Okay, so that's my answer to you, inshallah.
Barakallahu feekum, Sheikh. That was very well elaborated. Maryam, do we have any other question?
Yes, we do. So our second question is that if everything that happens to a believer is good, so how can we tell that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is punishing us for something, or he is testing us for our actions?
Okay, beautiful. Let me just answer very quickly, and I want everybody here in the room to hear it. How many people we have? We have over 90 people, yeah? Listen to this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never punish you for something you've done. Okay? In the dunya. The punishment comes in the akhirah. The Muslim scholars use the term punishment sometimes figuratively. Allah loves you. Allah will never basically be there to get you. I want you to understand that. So even when basically, for example, you feel that something happened due to your sin, yes, sins might get you in trouble, like in real life, right? Like if you lie, you might actually get in trouble. If you let's say speak badly about somebody, this might come to haunt you. Yeah. So sins would get you in trouble. But you just see what you need to do is just do istighfar and understand that everything that happens to you without your permission, without your choice, is a gift from God. Now it could be painful, and that's the reason why most people leave the deen. That's why most people leave the deen, whether it's Islam or Christianity, whatever it is. But definitely we're speaking about Islam here because we're Muslims and we believe this is the only truth. People leave Islam sometimes, or most of the times actually. The reason behind it is that when they go through pain and suffering, they don't know how to explain it, and they lose hope in God. It's like, if God is all merciful, why am I going through this? What you need to understand, and to be honest, it's a whole lecture, and I've given it, I think, before in UTM before. Yeah, I've given this lecture all over Canada, even in Saskatchewan, and Halifax. So what you guys need to understand is anything that happens to you without your choice, something that this is what happened. Yes, outside your control, it is good, but you don't know how. The wisdom might not basically be seen or shown to you at the moment. Yeah, you just need to believe. That's, again, go back to that. If you know God is the all-wise, the all-merciful, well, he's wise, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Something happens to you. Why does it have to be evil? It's not evil. You're never going to lose something. You're not going to be worse off in a situation that God chooses to you. So it is always, 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 always good. It will never basically be bad. Okay? It might be painful, but it's good. Okay? So I'll leave you with that, inshallah. If you really need to reach out to me for a one-on-one consultation, please do. Speak to the MSA, inshallah. We can arrange a phone call if you need more support on this issue, inshallah. And if there's more interest in this issue by many, we can even have another workshop together. Okay.
Barakallahu feekum, jazakumullah khairan, Sheikh. It's always a pleasure to listen to you. Alhamdulillah, I have a opportunity to listen to you many times a week. Be happy with that. For those wondering, I am his student, and many people here are his students, just so you know. But just to let you guys know, look, the conference or the summit is not over, okay? What we have is we're going to have a break for Maghrib, obviously, from 5:10 to 5:20, and we come back at 5:20 on the dot, inshallah. We'll try to be punctual, even though this is organized by Arabs and Desis. I know that's very difficult for our kind. But look, when we get back, we'll do the closing remarks, and we have something very special, and that's we're going to let you guys go to these little breakout rooms for the MSAs, specifically where you'll be guided through what the MSAs can do for you in terms of support you in your mental health, your deen, and other things like that. So inshallah, see you guys at 5:20. Please do actually come. It'll be beneficial, I promise you, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, guys.